Hello, welcome to GM Tutorials. So today I'll be taking you guys through elasticity and our managerial accounts. Okay. Now, when you're offering business administration, it is one of the requirement courses to take. Okay. And now the reason why you take this course is because it gives you the techniques and the tools to help you in your decision making as a manager. It also gives you the So today we'll be looking at partial elasticity of demand, and so let me write that. So forgive me for my handwriting, in case you don't see. You bear with me. All right. So what is elasticity in general? Okay. So when we say elasticity, basically we are looking at the responsiveness of consumers to price changes. Okay. So that is what we are looking at, or better understand it as how consumers react to changes in price. Okay, so that is elasticity. And basically, we have three types of elasticity. So we have the own price elasticity, which is normally called price elasticity of demand. We have the cross price elasticity of demand and income elasticity of demand. So basically, these are the three types of elasticity that we have. Okay, so I have a full video on elasticity and a teaching on that, so you can check it out if you want to go into that. All right, so today we'll be looking at partial elasticity of demand. Mostly, you see this question in your demand and supply analysis. If you're answering any question in demand and supply, you might see this. Okay, and this is there to basically help you uh, to advise management on the pricing policy that they are supposed to use, okay, for the demand of a particular commodity. So that is the reason why we are doing this. So without further ado, let's jump right in, pick a question, and see how it works. Okay, all right. Okay, so before we pick the question, I would like to show you what we are coming to do here. So actually, what partial elasticity is coming to do is, before you be able to solve any elasticity question, you will need an old price. You will need an old price and a new price, okay, and an old quantity and new quantity, okay, to be able to solve it, okay. So the general formula, let's use own price elasticity, okay. So own price elasticity. You know that the formula is change in quantity demand, okay, over change in price. So let's say the commodity in question is X. So change in quantity demand of good X over change in price of good X, all multiplied by price of good X over the quantity demand of good X. Okay, so this is the general formula for finding own price elasticity. Now, what we are coming to do is we are going to use differentiation, okay, to generate this section of the formula, okay. Because to be able to solve this kind of question, you will need an old price and a new price, an old quantity and a new quantity, okay. But in certain cases, they might only give you the demand function and they will tell you to find the elasticity, which obviously might not be possible. In that condition, so you might be forced to use the delta QDX, okay, all over the delta PX. So this formula replaces this formula here that you see here, this one. Okay. Okay, that's gets you the value for the changes that occurred here. Okay. All multiplied by the same value over here, which is px over qdx. Okay. All right. So to be able to make more sense, let us pick a question, then you see what I'm trying to say. Okay, so this is example 8.6. So we were given this demand function. So Q equals 100 minus 2p plus PA, okay, plus 0.1y. Okay, so in the question, they're saying that P equals 10, PA equals 12, and Y equals 1000. So we are supposed to find A, the price elasticity of demand. So price elasticity of demand. Okay, which is the same as the own price elasticity of demand. So to do that, okay, we have to use differentiation. You get it? So we are going to use differentiation, which is the formula that I've quoted here. Okay, to help us generate the value. I said it replaces this section. Okay, so to help us generate the value within this. Okay, so let's see. So within this equation, this is a quantity demand. Okay, this is a constant. This is the price of this commodity that we don't know of. Okay, this is the price of a related good, and this is income. So to be able to find their own price elasticity of demand, so you can write PED or OPED. You can write this or this, whichever is fine. So we are saying that, so the formula says that delta Q, okay, because in this question it's Q that we are talking about, over delta of P, okay, times P over Q. Okay, so according to the equation that we have here, this is what we can generate out of it. So to find the delta, this is what it means. It means that we have to go back to this equation, and wherever P is, we differentiate. Okay, so equals, so let's look at this section. This is 100. Is P here? No, P is not here. So this will cross out. Is P here? Yes, P is here. So we differentiate this negative 2P, of which it is going to be left with what? Negative 2. Okay, so to be able to understand this, you have to watch my video on differentiation to get the full understanding of this. Aside that, if you have a little knowledge or you have some knowledge of it, you can bear with me how I got this negative 2. All right, so I said this formula here, just like what I've written here, replaces this. Okay, so to be able to go through the stress to find the differences, to find the changes, this formula here makes it very easy for you to do that. Okay, so then we've gotten our value after differentiating, which is negative 2p. So then we multiply. So according to the question, p, okay, p is what? P is 10. So 10 over, then q is 192. Okay, according to the question. So at this section, you use your calculator to find. So let's punch it and see. So it's negative 2. So you put everything in it times 10 to the power 192. Okay. That gives us what? Absolute 0.104. Okay. That is to 3 decimal places. Okay. So what does this tell us? So in the elasticity rule, or with the elasticity, so with elasticity, we are saying that when own price or price elasticity of demand is greater than 1, we say what demand is what? Demand is elastic. Okay. But in this case, you realize that we had 0.104, which is less than 1. So when own price elasticity of demand is less than 1, what do we say it is? We say demand is what? Inelastic. So in short, okay, when you look at this value, it is less than what? 1. So in this case, demand is inelastic, okay, which means that a greater change in price will lead to what? A greater, a greater change in price will lead to a small change in quantity demand. Okay. All right. So this is for this. So the question didn't say we should explain, okay, but that is just by the way in case you missed the you missed elasticity class. Okay. All right. Now let's move on to the next question. The next question, which is B. B says that we should find the cross price elasticity of demand. So B. So we are finding the cross price elasticity of demand. There's a short form. Okay. So just like we did for the first one, okay, is the same, but this time um, we say CPED will be equal to delta Q over delta. Now, the equation over here gave us PA. So our cross price elasticity will be P subscript A. Okay. All right. Multiplied by what? P subscript A over what? Q. Uh-huh. So then let's put in the values. So we are going to differentiate this from the equation over here. And you realize that this is only PA. It doesn't have any coefficients. So we assume there's a 1 here. Okay, so when you differentiate, you're going to get what? 1, which is a positive value. Okay, so we multiply by, so in the question, what did they say PA is? So in the question, PA is 12, right? So 12 and over the total amount, which is 192. Okay, so you take your calculator, 192 is already there. So I delete this 12 and this is 1. So I'm getting what? 0 point what? 0625. Okay. So 0.0625. Now, when you get a positive value, like I've gotten here, okay, when you're doing cross price elasticity and you get a positive value, what it means is that the commodity in question is a substitute. It's a substitute good, okay? So that is to so take note of it. So the commodity here, when you get the answer, okay, to be positive, then the commodity in question is a substitute good. When you get it to be negative, then is what? Complementary good. All right, so that is it. So let's move on to the So as simple as it is here, so this is how the partial elasticity goes, okay? And you might find this particular question in your demand and supply analysis. So you should take note of it, that this is how partial elasticity works, okay? All right, so now let's move on to the third, the C. So C says income elasticity. So I would need space. So let me bring it here. Let me adjust this one. So C. So we are doing income elasticity of demand. And this is IED in its shortest form, okay? All right, so just like we did for the rest, so IED will be equal to delta Q over delta I times I over what? Q. So in the question, what did they say I is? But before that, let's differentiate, okay? So equal to, so I, when you differentiate, is going to be what? So when you check here, is 0, when you check the other side, is 0 0.1. Check the, so 0 0.1, okay? So you multiply that by I, which they gave us to be 1,000, all over what? 192, okay? Yeah, that's correct. So then let's punch it. So this is 0 0.1 already there. 1, 2, 3, yeah. So we are getting what? 0 0.521, okay, at 3 decimal place, okay. So when you are dealing with income elasticity and your answer is positive, or you get a positive answer, then it means that what? The commodity in question is what? A normal good, okay. In some instances, they might ask you whether it's a luxury good or not, okay. We have other metrics to measure that as well, okay. But when you get, in general, when you get a positive value for your income elasticity of demand, then what we are talking about is the commodity in question is what? A normal good. So when you are to get a negative value, then you should know you are talking about what? An inferior good, okay. All right. So the last part of the question says that, is the alternative good substitutable or complementary? And we've already answered that, okay. And we are saying that when, let me adjust it. So we are saying that when the cross price elasticity is what? Is positive, then we are looking at a substitute good, okay. So you can then write it that the alternative good is what? A substitute good. So let me write it. So that's the final answer. So like CI, so you can say the alternative good is a substitute good, okay. So, or substitutable good, okay. It says substitutable, so you can write substitutable good, okay. Yeah, so that is it. And that's all for partial elasticity. So when you see this question in your demand and supply analysis, please do justice to it. It's as easy as you see it, okay. All right, thank you. See you in my next video.